Hello, students. This is a short video about the peer review assignment for the question paper. So this uses some of the Canvas system so that you can give feedback to your peers. It's a little unintuitive right at the beginning, so I want to show you kind of step by step in a screen share kind of what you will see. Now, because I'm not actually a student, I can't show you exactly what you will see to get it, but hopefully this gets you to where you're going. So let's start off with the instructions. All right, you should see the instructions now. This is basically what you should see when you are looking at the assignment instructions. So peer review instructions for Dropbox. Essentially, this is just where you find the instructions for the peer review. I will put your points here, but for probably all of you, because Canvas has been working pretty well lately, for all of you, you don't have to actually submit anything here. This is just where you find your instructions and where you get your points. So the first thing I would recommend is to open up the more detailed instructions here, and it opens up this document. So what a peer review is you as a peer of your classmates reviews another student's paper. So you've written a paper, your peers have written papers, and so you're going to give them some feedback to hopefully make their paper better. So I'll also be giving feedback on the papers too, but this gives you more feedback. And so it's really, really helpful. So the main idea with this feedback is I don't want to see comments like, "This is great, good job," or "I think you could work on this a little more." I want more more substant. I would like to see more comments that actually get at details in the paper. So here are some examples in this instructions. So move this paragraph to the section above. This in-text citation is missing a page number. If it's direct quote, it would need that. So I've kind of got this broken into the writing review section. So these are questions that as you are reading your peer's paper, you should ask yourself. And these might be things that you might need to comment to your peer about. So as you're reading the paper, well, is it organized logically and effectively? Is there grammar or spelling errors? Is the tone professional? Are they defining acronyms? What about the transitions between sentences and paragraphs? Does it make sense, or do they have like a connection sentence of this is what we're doing now? Do they say in first person active voice the whole time or third person passive voice? Because either of those is fine, but you've just got to stay consistent across the paper. So think about their writing. Are there any of these things that you are seeing that they should change? And then another one to think about is the APA formatting. So I've got a couple little reminders here. You can also kind of use this as a little APA cheat sheet for simple things. So are the sources cited completely? Remember, anything that is talking about previous research, that's discussing or describing previous research, needs an in-text citation. Oftentimes students forget them, so point out a couple of those. Now, with this peer review, I'm not expecting you to comment on every single error in the paper. Think on average, try to find on every single page, see if you can get to 5 comments, 5 things to change on every page at kind of a minimum. Depending on the student, they might have a really great paper. Maybe you're not seeing 5 things to change, but do try to get to that point of 5 things per page to change. So here is some ways to cite. So this is for one author paper, for 2 author paper that they're citing, and then more than 2. So with that, this is how to do direct quotes. Other things, make sure it's double space, 1-inch margins. One thing that's been a little annoying with Canvas lately is that sometimes it's been messing up formatting. So like a student will save their Word document the correct way, upload it to Canvas, and Canvas displays it a little wrong. Usually downloading the paper, you can see the correct format, but it's possible some of these comments you make might just be Canvas, which is totally fine. We're making comments so they can look back at their paper and find these things that should be changed and then update them to be better. All right, so that is the instructions. So that is what you will find in the peer review instructions at Dropbox. Read over those instructions, maybe keep it handy so that you're looking at those questions as you're looking at the paper, so you have some ideas of what should I be looking for as I review this student's paper. All right, now, how do you actually find your peer review? Well, it does give you some instructions in this instructions document, but just find the place that you turned in draft one. So navigate back to the modules, find that assignment that is draft one question paper. So I've already done that. I've opened it here. So this is where you turn in draft one question paper. Once you turn it in, as you can see, I haven't turned it in, and this is one weakness. See if I can move my face out of the way. But here in the upper right, after you have submitted your paper, well, then you will be able to see over here something pop up in the top right that says required peer review. It might be a blue link with a student's names. It might have a little drop box that says peer review. Canvas sometimes updates this, and so it sometimes changes. But here, after you've turned in your draft one, well, a couple days after, essentially, I wait a little bit, a couple days for anybody who's turning it in late. It will automatically send you this this assignment. It should also send you a email through Canvas, a notification that says you have a peer review, but this is where you find it. Go back to draft one question paper, the place you turned in draft one. Once you've turned it in, up here you should see your document, like the file that you uploaded, and you should also see near the top upper right someone else's name, something that says peer review, something to click on, assigned peer reviews or required peer reviews. Click on that and it should take you and open up a student's paper. So when you click on it, it will look a lot like this. And so I've asked the student if I can share their work. So when you click that button, it should open their paper in a format very similar to this. And that is where you will review their paper. So as you are looking at the student's paper, you will look for any kind of errors in APA formatting. You will look for errors in writing. Again, using those instructions. Well, are they doing correct citations? Are they using, is it clear and concise? So as you're reviewing, these are the kinds of things to look at. So you might need to rewatch the APA basics video as well if you don't remember a lot of the APA rules. But for example, I would make a comment right here saying this is not a proper heading for APA 7. So now that I've done that, I've clicked enter, I click off, that is saved. This student, if they went and looked at their paper right now, they would see that comment. So assuming the internet's working, things like that. But that is what I want you to do, is go through the paper and find things to give them comments on. So again, read their paper. If there's anything that's confusing, that would be a great thing to write. So if you read over their intro and you're still like, I don't understand what your point is in this paper, I don't know where you're going with this, make that comment. Let them know that it's confusing, that you want a little more clarity. If there's something that they're discussing that's not defined well. But essentially, I want you to use this tool. Another thing you can do, you can highlight things in their document if you want. You can make a note on that highlight. You can just use this text box to make a text box. So you can make notes like that. And again, these will save as you are going through, making these kinds of notes. So you can strike through some of their work right here. You can say, oh, well, this is an error. You can highlight that to say, delete that, those kinds of things. The one I usually use is this one. It's just a little bubble, balloon that points to specific things. So let's go down here. Maybe there's some problem in the in-text citations. All right, so that star symbol is not APA. I forget what the icon actually is called, but that is something you could point out to say, hey, change this. Right? So that is what I want you to do. As you're doing that, as you're clicking through, as long as you have internet connection, it should be saving this automatically. And that's your submission, making comments, giving good feedback on your peers' paper, both their writing, both their APA style. I want to give you a sense of what this might look like after you have finished. So as I discussed, try to go for about 5 comments per page. Obviously, the title page is a little shorter, so maybe not. But these are my comments here, and this is the comments from a peer. So this peer went through, gave a lot of different comments. So as I scroll through, you can see they gave some really specific comments. So they have some writing comments here. So they say, hey, this APA format is not correct. APA format. Down here, they saw that the references were actually incorrect, not in APA format, so they fixed some of them on their own as some examples. So that is what I want to see. I want to see some actual comments from you, some good feedback, some ways that your peer can improve their paper. And again, where you get to this, so the peer review instructions, this is just where the points will go. So you find the instructions document. I will put the points here once you've completed it, but you actually have to navigate to the place you turned in draft one. So where you turned in draft one of question paper, go there and you should see up here in the upper right a box pop up or a name pop up or the words pop up that says required peer reviews. And you click on that, it'll open up a window kind of like this, make comments, point out things in your peer's paper. And basically, what I will do, I will be able to go through and see that you've done that, right? I can see that this student has made comments. And so that is what I'm looking for when I give you a grade. So if for some reason this kind of display, it doesn't actually open up the student's paper, but you can download that paper from here. So where you turned in draft one, it might let you download the paper is another option. If you want to do that, you can make comments on their paper in, say, a Word document, like actually edit their paper, make comments, that kind of thing, save it, email it to them, and also upload it to this peer review instructions in Dropbox. So that's only if you want to download it and edit it on your own word processor. But you don't have to do that. The Canvas system is pretty good with this. So just going to where you turned in draft one, up here in the upper right, you'll see the student's name, required peer reviews, something like that to let you know that there's an assignment to do. When you click it, it'll open up this display, make notes and comments on the peer's paper. With that being said, you do not, it will ask you to worry about the rubric, to like put something in the rubric. You don't have to worry about the rubric. So comments and edits in the document, that's what I'm wanting to see. So something like this throughout the paper with a lot of comments on the student's paper to help them make it better. But you do not have to do the rubric. Any changes you make to the rubric, I'll see them, but the student won't actually see those. So don't worry about that. You can use this little comment area at the bottom if you want to give additional comments to the student, but you don't have to. The main thing I'm looking for is comments on the document using these tools up here. So if you've got questions about how that works, feel free to email me those questions, or you could also come into the online office hours for the week or in-person office hours. I've actually had more students come in my online classes they're coming into my in-person office hours than the online office hours this quarter. So that's been fun. So get this feedback to your peers because it'll help them improve their paper. And that's the goal. In reviewing someone else's paper as well, you will probably find things and see things that they did and have ideas about writing that might make you change your own writing. And so helping someone else is going to help yourself in this process. And then as you get good feedback from your peers, you'll be able to take that feedback and you'll be able to make your final draft of your paper really great. So thanks for helping out your peers. And if you've got questions on the assignment, let me know.